as you can see, I'm part of the Center for American Studies. I'm doing an MA in American Studies. My name's Brett. So a lot of the information I'm taking is directly from the website, the CAS website, Center for American Studies, if I use that acronym. And something to point in mind, I'm doing an academic topic, which is the Center for American Studies. So it's not theoretical in the sense that a lot of the other presentations have been. This is about the center itself, and hopefully maybe why you'd be interested in it or looking at it a little bit more. But today this is what we're going to go over. These are the points, and as you can see, here's the template. I think it looks really sharp. But we're going to first start with an explanation of discipline, just so we can all be on the same foot to understand, come from the same level. And then we'll get into the last three parts, which will be explaining the program a little bit more and the reasons why I chose the program and why you could all choose it as well in future years. So the term American Studies, that's the program I am in. That's what it says on my shirt. We don't have a lot of recognition yet because it's a new program. I'll get into this in a little bit, but there's only 11 students of us. I think there are smaller programs. I think creative writing only takes 2 students a year or something like this, but we're a small program. But I just want to pose the question to you before we start. What does American Studies mean to you? Or in another way, when I say the word America, what's the first thing that pops in your head? So there's no wrong answers here, let me rest assured. And you can be as blunt as you want, but we'll just go around the room, starting with Carol Ann, and we'll just say the first thing when I say American Studies or America, what do you think?
Assimilation. Assimilation.
Okay.
The continent, the whole continent.
Okay, so more of a continental view. Yep.
George Bush.
That was mine.
Yep.
History of America.
Okay.
Yeah, maybe literature.
Okay.
Rosa Parks.
Okay, yeah, those are great responses. Like I said, there's no wrong answer. So I'll give you a little bit of a demonstration of what I think about just in the next 4 slides, and then we'll come back to this. But this is what I think of when I first hear America or American Studies. I think of, very similar to what Jorge said, the country itself. This is what America is. This is contemporary America. This is what we think of today, or at least in my view. This is the next thing I think of American religion, especially Protestantism. It's something the country is bound up with from its antiquity. Moving on. This is another thing that comes to mind. I just Googled images of America, so definitely a hot topic now. Something that's very serious on the lexicon of America, and it has been for many years. And then getting on to the next image, this is the last one that I think of. It's another health reason too, so it's something that's relatable, but it definitely is something to be said about corporate America, and there's just a lot of issues going on with something like this. But that's what American Studies means to me, just for face value when I think of it. And as I have here, it's highly subjective when you can tell just from the get-go when we're speaking of America, we all have different views in our head. There's going to be a lot of overlap, a lot of similarities, but there's no right, there's no wrong views when it comes to America because everyone has their own connection with it, something like that. But luckily, coming to our saving grace to help fill this void of what America means or what American Studies means, we have the Center for American Studies. So, as I mentioned, it's a very new program, only since 2010. So not as new as your program, but quite new. I thought it would have been one of the newest, but I was proven wrong. So it's just the last couple of years, the MA program has been around. They've had undergraduate classes since 2005. The center itself it has existed since 1984. We're in the social science building. And as you can see from here, the bread and butter of the program and what it really prides itself on is being an interdisciplinary program. So you can see here some of the listed faculties that are associated with the program. So we actually have staff and professors that are involved with the program, supervisors I'm allowed to work under, and other people from all these different disciplines. And it's basically to come up with what America is. We try and explain the whole culture, the history, the politics of it from taking various different stances and perspectives. So it's a very unique program in the sense that it's interdisciplinary. There's other interdisciplinary programs like your health program, But this one is to try and explain and understand better the country of America, which to me, that's what I'm passionate about. It's something that I've never really considered until it was brought to my attention. Like, we have our neighbor to the south that's unlike any other country in the world. It has its own idiosyncrasies, and it's a really interesting country. So it's something that, hey, why not fully funded program? I want to study that. So that's kind of how I got hooked. And as I have up here, course selection, very simple. You just have to, we have a couple mandatory courses that I have to take this year. But other than that, as long as I can swing to the program that there's an American content, I can take courses from any of the following disciplines up there or other ones. That's not an exhaustive list, so if there was something in the health field that there was an American component to it, I could pitch that to the graduate chair, and we can definitely, that's an option for me to take. So it's, I have up here, course selection is simple too. I just have to talk to the administrative assistant. It's a very small program, and I say, can I get in this class? She has to talk with someone else, replaced it. So it's nice. And then even within the 11 of us, we're broken up into the American cultural stream and the Canadian American relations, and that comes into second term. So there's 2 different classes for that. So there's, again, 2 different perspectives to go into it. So the second part that I really like about the program itself, and I mentioned a little earlier, is the small size. So because of this, there's 11 of us, and we're all in the basement of social science. It's this little area. The program itself, the Center for American Studies, the room is right across from where the graduate offices are, so we're all in one little nook in social science, and because of that, the graduate teaching assistants, who I will be one, we're all in one office, and we all share ideas, bounce ideas off one another, and it's it can be really conducive to learning with that. And I have up here too American Studies 1020. That's the course that I'll be TAing, and there's 7 TA spots available for that class, which is it's really nice because basically if we want a TA position, we grant one. They can grant one to us because there's usually about, they find 3 to 4 students that want to RA, our research assistant. But if we want to TA this class, it's nice because we're all put together in that class, the teaching assistants, so we can all help each other out and want to be a one-on-one and find different researches from that and help the first-year students. So it's almost like a family, you could say, of people that all have the same, very similar interests, but diverse within those interests as well. So there's no PhD stream for the MA in American Studies, and because of that, I find that there's almost more attention given to us just because we're at the pinnacle of the level where you can go with this program. So right now, the only MA in American Studies in Canada is at Western, and it's, as I mentioned, it's brand new. So there's only a handful of undergraduate programs that offer the undergraduate level for American Studies. Western's one of them, University of Toronto is another, but there's not many more than that. And because it's so new and we're the only MA in Canada for American Studies, the funding availability is really good. I'm in a fully funded program, which is really nice. Those extra funds are just going towards my undergraduate debt, but it's really nice to have that nonetheless. And also with that too, travel grants are definitely available, and they're highly encouraged. So each student, they take pride in sending them out somewhere in America to do some research or digging around in archives in their various schools that pertains to their research, and they only request that you fill out a form about how your experience was a positive or negative experience, and they want lots of pictures. So that's good, and they go on the website and whatnot. So the last point I have here is the supportive staff. So just from my own experiences, the staff themselves, the administration staff, have been unbelievably nice about things. I've gone multiple times this past year. I was at Huron for my undergraduate degree, so right across the street. So I came over a couple times to learn more about the program, and it was really nice that they were just open to any questions I had. They were always available. I would have impromptu visits, and they would take me into the classes. They invited me to sit on classes, and it was great. They introduced me to every single one of the MA students from last year, so only the second year that the program has run, and they were just so passionate about the program. They could not speak more highly of it. It was just amazing, amazing experience to meet with them, sit with them, and they were also responsive and receptive to my questions, and it was such an inviting environment that I knew I was sold, because I also applied to the history program here in social science, and it was a similar experience. They're very similar programs, but this one I was just sold just from the staff themselves. And the graduate committee, this next week, we have a meeting with all of them from all their different disciplines, law, faculty of information sciences, all these different disciplines. They're going to meet with all of us. They want to meet with us. We're going to have a mix and mingle. The following day, I meet with the chair of the program, and we're going over my research and talking about my TA position. She's going to work with my schedule to find a tutorial section that will work with my schedule because I'm commuting from out of town. And it's just really, really nice to have that, and it creates that community, that environment that's conducive to learning. I feel safe, comfortable. I think it's just great. And this is the equation that I've made. So it's in social science terms, I guess you could say in American Studies terms. But the interdisciplinary ratio of the program, which is its bread and butter, as I mentioned, mixed with the small classes and the supportive staff, that's basically what sold me on this program. And I think it makes a great graduate program at Western. Western has a history of having amazing graduate programs. You're all in amazing programs, but this one I think is just takes the cake for me. The research is just so amazing. And now that you know this, you are all more than qualified to apply, as I mentioned, with the interdisciplinary programs. So I hope to see you around.